Hi, in this video I'll be replacing the door seal on a Hotpoint WF washing machine, but this particular seal is also used on other models in the Hotpoint catalogue of washing machines, plus some in the Creda, Indesit and Ariston range of appliances as well. Before you do any work on a domestic appliance, be safe and switch it off from the main socket, and if possible remove the plug. Washing machine lids are normally held on by a couple of screws. Some like this are at the back, whilst others are at the side, normally at the front. They also vary in how they come off. Some just slide off, some need to be lifted slightly from the back, while others need to be lifted from the front and then slid back. Soap drawers also vary in how they're held in. This Hotpoint drawer has a tab in the centre that when pushed down allows it to be slid out. Other makes and models have drawers that just need a sharp tug to free them. Most fascia panels are held on by screws behind the soap drawer, which are only accessible when it's out. They could also be held on by other means as well. This one has screws on top and two retaining tabs inside that need to be unhooked. The console PCB on this model has only one wire connector, so no special care need be taken regarding where it fits. But on some models, such as the Hotpoint WMA range, the control module is located at the rear of the fascia panel, and it has a number of different connectors and location points on the module for them to fit into. So it's advisable to make a note of where the connectors fit, or if you have a camera, then take a photo. When you're checking for holes in the door seal, then look in all the little creases and folds and along the edge of the seal where the zips might rub against it. The door seal retaining wire on this machine is fitted with a spring, which makes the whole thing easy to fit and remove. But there's a number of other methods of holding the seal on the front panel that are not so easy, such as the zipper type. That you'll see in a moment. On this machine it's used to hold the seal on the drum. Pull the seal free from the front panel and fold it inside the drum out of the way. Remove the two screws holding the door lock in place. You may want to put your hand in and hold it from behind so you can put a bit of pressure on the screwdriver when you undo it and to stop it falling inside the machine. The front of it hooks into the panel, so will need to be unhooked to free it. If you want to remove the wiring plug at this point you can, although it doesn't need to come off unless you want to change the switch, that is. But now I have it off, I'll show you. This is the lip that holds it into the panel. On this range of machine there are just two screws on top of the front panel and two under it. Remove the kick strip by just pulling it off. It just pushes on and pulls off. You can now get to the lower screws. Once they're out you can move on to the ones on the top of the panel. Don't worry about the panel falling because it's hooked into the cabinet by 4 nylon lugs, so you'll have to lift the panel for it to come free. Now you can see the zipper type seal retainer I spoke about earlier. Use a small thin bladed screwdriver and gradually lever the clasp out one notch at a time. If like this one it proves troublesome, you may need to hold the other end with a pair of long nose pliers as you try to separate them. Door seals in the past have only lipped onto the outer edge of the drum front plate. This tended to leave an area of the front plate exposed to the friction of nylon garments, which caused a reaction in some machines and led to close damage. On this type of machine the seal folds around the front of the container or drum front plate, which reduces the possibility of close damage. It's a good idea to clean off any loose limescale or residue left on the drum from the old seal before the new one's fitted. This will minimise the possibility of any leaks between the seal and the drum front. On nearly all seals there's some way of setting it into the correct position. On this one the little tab on the lower right side sits astride this small moulding. But in any event, these small drain holes in the seal always go to the bottom. They're there for water to drain back into the drum when the wash is finished, and their only function is to prevent little puddles from forming in the lip of the seal when the wash is finished. So they're supposed to be there, but if you find any other holes then the seal needs replacing. As you can see here, the seal not only lips on the outer edge of the drum but also fits inside it. On this type of machine, the seal folds around the container or drum front plate, which reduces the possibility of close damage. The main reason for changing this seal is because there's a hole in it, but there are also black stains that are a form of bacteria. Bleaching the seal may remove them to a certain extent, but the only real cure is to replace the seal. This build-up of bacteria is caused by not leaving the door open after a wash is finished to let the machine dry out. When you refit the zipper clasp, put each end of the wire in the holder by just 1 or 2 notches, then hook the whole thing over the seal and into the groove around the edge. With a pair of long nose pliers, grip the wire and squeeze. Hook the front panel onto the nylon latches either side of the cabinet, making sure you haven't caught any wires in it. The panel will just sit there now until you refit the upper and lower screws. With the lower screws fitted, you can now refit the kick strip. If you removed the wiring plug from the switch when you originally took it out, then reconnect it now and hook the lip on the front of the switch in the hole so it fits flat on the back of the panel, then refit the screws. Feed the seal around the front panel so that it's even before you start fitting it. That way it won't go on twisted. Before fitting the retaining wire, if you run a small amount of washing up liquid between your fingers, then slide the wire through it, this will lubricate it and allow it to fit easier. Reconnect the PCB and refit the fascia panel. If you have a module with a number of connections on, you'd be advised to check your previously made notes or photo rather than just rely on memory as to where they all fit. And be sure you've not left any off, because some of these connections have a tendency to fall inside the cabinet and get forgotten. When refitting the screws in the soap dispenser, don't over tighten them or you may strip the thread. Slide the drawer in and refit the top. The machine is now ready to be water tested. On behalf of Selfix UK, we'd like to thank you for watching this video and hope you found it interesting. Goodbye.